you. First of all, very good morning because it is 8:30 in Germany. And I would like to thank the organizers and to the participants of who are actually watching now because this is a very, I think, important seminar, webinar in a sense, in this pandemic times. And I'm sure you have listened as you are listening to Dr. Bhattacharya's talk, that's very insightful and informative talk. You are all are motivated to actually take the journey to a Nobel laureate's laboratory to pursue your career in research field. But still, if somebody somehow misses to do that, you need some alternatives, right? So for that, we are going to focus in the title, as you can see, the fascinating career in chemistry. But this term fascinating is somewhat more problematic because something that fascinates me might not fascinate you. So I'm sorry for if something happens like that. So as Dr. Priyanka Burwa introduced me, I'm thankful to her for this kind introduction. Now I will proceed to my talk. As you can see, this is Sorinja's cat. He is listening to this fascinating career of chemistry and coming to chemistry lab to pursue chemistry as a career. You know, Sorinja's cat is a very famous thing in quantum mechanics. Okay, so as Dr. H.K. Chaudhary sir in his keynote speaks about the importance of chemistry in our daily life, and then the chemistry as a central science, he focused also on that point. So most of you are all are convinced still now, but still I would like to refer to some of the one of the greatest chemists, Professor Linus Pauling. Partho actually talked about him also. So he was a quantum chemist and a biochemist. So he won Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1954, then Nobel Peace Prize in 1962. So he was not only a great scientist, but also some political, also kind of political activist, social activist. So he said in his address to American Chemical Society that every aspect of the world today, even politics and international relations, is affected by chemistry. So now I think you can understand why chemistry is so important. That's why we are not concerned about James Bond. We are concerned about the chemical bond. And that's why I'm writing here, bond, the chemical bond. And he is one of the pioneers who actually works in this to understand the chemical bond. He has written a book called The Nature of Chemical Bond. Okay, so you can read this book. It's one of the classic book in chemistry. So as Professor Linus Pauling said that why and how chemistry is so important. So I think you are convinced now. You can at least convinced by my words also that chemistry, the central science, is very much important. It can give you a lot of opportunities in your life. So we'll go to that thing. But before, let me put this question: which of the following careers would require some understanding of chemistry? A farmer, chef, then doctor, and the option all of the above. What do you think? I guess, I mean, you will go by this option D, right? Yeah, so it is all of the above. Basically, a farmer produce, food stuff, then a chef will prepare it. Then if you overeat something, then you have to go to doctor. So all of these professions are basically need to have some understanding of chemistry. So chemistry is so important. If you also add the other many professions, you will also see that the chemistry is playing a vital role there also, right? So that's why chemistry that is very much important, and that's why we have to study chemistry. But the problem is in India or in Assam, we don't study chemistry, or we don't pursue chemistry because we want to understand something. We pursue chemistry because we need good jobs, right? I actually studied chemistry because of this line. That was the only motive. Okay, because I was very much interested in physics and mathematics during my high secondary thing, but many seniors and my teachers actually advised me to take chemistry because I was coming from some, say, marginalized, poor background, so poor economic background. So I need a good job as soon as possible. So they advised me to pursue chemistry. And they also told me that, as I'm going to tell you today, this fascinating careers, because chemistry has a very extremely broad scope. I mean, it is basically so, kind of very diverse scope it has. It is like India. I mean, it's so diverse. You can go to physics, you can go to biology, you can go to geology, you can go environment, you can go to medicine, you can go to some engineering technological stuff also. So that's why it is so diverse. It is like our country, India. So that's why I actually choose to pursue chemistry. And chemistry, the central science, the theme of our today's webinar, the main theme. So that actually was basically discussed by Dr. H.K. Chaudhary sir, and or Parthojory has also answered this question. So I'm leaving it. But the actual and the main actually reason why we should study chemistry should be this curiosity actually, right? This curiosity should be the main reason, or to gain knowledge should be the main reason. But in our country, we are not basically motivated by that system because our education system or our surroundings is a little bit different. Okay, but if you go to the developed countries like Western countries or most probably in US, you will see that they are basically choosing any subject or any field because of their curiosity or because of their thirst to gain knowledge or understanding the nature. Okay, so that's why they choose chemistry, and I actually would like all of you to choose anything like out of this, curiosity or to gain knowledge or something. Okay, so before that, as I already told you, that chemistry has a very broad scope. So we have to understand, we have to know where the chemists work, right? Where a chemist can work. So you can see that we have a lot of academic institutions in India, and I would like to tell again that I will basically focus in this talk from the perspective, Indian perspective. Basically, I will keep in mind the country India. Okay, so because Parthojory has already told about an abroad perspective to how you carry on your career with chemistry. So in India, you have a lot of academic institutions like Indian Institute of Technologies, Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research, National Institute of Technologies, and various universities, colleges, and schools. So after pursuing chemistry, you can go to any of these academic institutions to do teaching or to do some research work. Then you have some research institutions in India. You have CSR labs. I think more than 36 CSR labs are there. Then you have Indian Institute of Science. You have Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. I think it has 4 centers most probably. Then you have Indian Association for Cultivation of Science in Kolkata. You have Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research in Bangalore, and many more and many DST labs are also there. So you can join or you can work in these research institutions as a scientist or any other post also. Then there are mission-driven institutions in India, so by say Atomic Energy Department or by defense sector or by space. So for institution like Indian Institute for Space Research Organizations, then you have Bhabha Atomic Research Center, then Indian Institute for Space Science and Technology. You have this DRDO, Defense Research and Development Organization. So here actually we have mission. So basically ISRO will work on space mission, right? DRDO will work on the defense sector. DRC will work on the atomic or nuclear sector. So in these mission-driven institutions, you can be recruited to fulfill the mission as a chemist. Then you have a lot of PSUs, ONGC, BPCL, oil, HPCL, and many more, as Parthojory already told. Then you have a lot of industries in India, right? Industries about textiles, papers, paints, soft detergents, then food processing, pharmaceuticals, agrochemicals, petrochemicals, and many more. So you can work in this industry as in the research and development R&D sector or in some production sector also. Then you have scientific publishers. Basically, we publish scientific journals and some books and some stuff like that. So in the scientific publishing house also, you can have jobs as a chemist. Then you can start your own entrepreneurship. Like nowadays, people start coaching center, some small companies, some startups, okay, some software companies or some chemical companies. A lot of stuff you can start having a good, career, having a good, knowledge in chemistry. So these are the many options that you can go for. But the problem is how to be a good chemist, right? We have to have a good way to be a good chemist. As Parthojory has already told his journey from his childhood to the Nobel laureate's lab. So basically his journey is a little like this, right? He is enrolled in BSc taking chemistry as honors, then MSc, then PhD, then postdoc. So this is the straight route, and I would like to, I would be happier if all of you actually take this line. Okay, but the problem is the life is not that smooth. Sometimes we have to discontinue our studies because of our personal problem or family problem or some other problems, monetary problems. So if we somehow have to stop in some point, right, that we cannot continue this total journey, then we have to see what kind of career we are having at that point of time. So if you are done BSc in chemistry, you can go to schools as teachers, you can go to forensic labs, you can also go to PSU, and a lot of industries. I personally, I was after my BSc, I was getting 2 call letter from Guwahati Refinery, okay, because I registered myself in the Employment Exchange Office of Guwahati. So then I was getting 2 interview call from Guwahati Refinery, but I didn't attend because I was not interested in this kind of job. Then if BSc is done, so you can do MSc in good institutions like IITs, IJAS or IISCs if you qualify the JAM. JAM is a very reputed examination. Okay, so if you qualify JAM, you can take admission to that kind of reputed institutions. But if you don't qualify, then also you can have a lot of opportunities and options, because you can go to a lot of good universities, and also in I think in Handy College you have MSc facilities to study MSc. Then if somehow you have to discontinue your study after MSc, then you can also have the options, right? You can go to schools as a PGT, PG teachers, or you can go to college if you somehow qualify NATE or SLATE kind of exam. Then you can go to forensic, of course PSU and industry. But to get actually good career, you have to qualify some of the very important examinations like GATE or NATE or SLATE kind of. Okay, so I will talk about those exams later. And forensic is one of the good actually career. Two of my friends, batchmate from chemistry department in Guwahati University, they actually recently got job in forensic, some forensic department. Okay, so you can also think about that. But for this, you have to give some, I think, written test or interview. They will advertise their vacancies. Then you have to fill up forms and apply for that. Okay, then once your MSc is done, then you can, as I already told, that there's exams like GATE, then NATE. If you qualify them, then you can pursue for PhD with fellowship in India. And say institution like IITs and IJAS, I will talk about that a little bit later. So once you are basically done your PhD, then you can, if you cannot continue to postdoc, then you can at least try for jobs in various colleges, various universities, and R&D sector in industries, and also in scientific publisher house, or you can also go to patent office, as Dr. Pathajoti highlighted. If you want to continue postdoc, as we are doing now, Dr. Pathajoti and myself, so then after that also you can go apply for universities and also like higher institutions like IITs and IJAS for faculty jobs or scientist jobs in CSR labs, in TIFR, ISC, and also in R&D sectors. And postdoc is itself like a job actually. You can get good salary during postdoc. So that's why I actually recommend all of you, honestly, to directly take this part until and unless you have some very unavoidable problem. Okay, so let's go to next slide. So as I already told you about the graduate aptitude test for engineering, GATE, it is a very important examination in Indian perspective, because if you want to get, admission for PhD thing, or also if you want to go to some PSU sector for jobs, you have to qualify this GATE examination and with actually higher rank. Okay, if you want to apply for ONGC, you need very good rank in GATE. Okay, so this GATE is actually conducted by IIT and IISc on behalf of MHRD. So if you want to take admission in MHRD institutions, basically qualification of GATE is very important. But I must tell you that GATE is not a fellowship. Okay, GATE is just an exam. So qualifying GATE doesn't guarantee you admission or scholarship. It's just a test, and it will help you to get admission or to get scholarship. And that's why it is it is also that the declaration is disclaimer is also given that GATE qualification doesn't assure a public sector undertaking job, but it will definitely help you. And I think if you your rank is under 100 in GATE, so most probably you will be get call letter from ONGC or other PSUs. Okay, this is the link. You can go and apply for these GATE examinations, and you should prepare well to qualify these examinations. Then the next is a lot of fellowship, and you have another exam called SLATE, okay, state level eligibility test or something. That is for just lectureship purpose. I'm not highlighting it there. So we have a lot of fellowship in India to pursue PhD. So one we all are very much familiar with is that CSIR UGC NET, a Junior Research Fellowship, right? You have to pass this test that is conducted by jointly by CSIR and UGC, that is called NET JRF. You have to qualify this. If you qualify this, basically you will get a fellowship and you can join any institutions in India for PhD. Then you have a DST Inspire Fellowship. DST Inspire is one of very good program actually. After HS also, after high secondary, if you are in the 1% of toppers list in your board examination, then you can DST Inspire Scholarship for Higher Education for 5 years from BSc plus MSc. Okay, and after that also, if you want to continue as a PhD scholar, then you can also apply for DST Inspire Fellowship. So then you will get a fellowship for 5 years again to pursue your PhD. This is one option. And second option is if you are university topper in your MSc, then you can also get this in the DST Inspire Fellowship. And then there's another fellowship called Prime Minister's Fellowship Scheme in Industry Relevant Research. Here, this fellowship is basically to promote research that is industry relevant. But basically, here you need to have an academic institutions and a partner institutions or partner industry. Okay, you can apply for this fellowship also to, work in some applied or industrial area. Here's a link. You can follow this link and get information about that. Then you have institutional fellowship, various reputed institutions like IITs or IIHS, IISCs, NIJAS, then TIFR. They actually provide a fellowship if you are selected, okay? And you can get selections through GATE or sometimes through NET-LS. NET-LS means lectureship. This is Junior Research Fellowship. Even if you don't qualify Junior Research Fellowship, you are qualified as lectureship thing. Then also you can apply in some institutions. Then some of the institutions are having their own written test. If you qualify the written test and then qualify the interview, then you can be directly recruited as a PhD scholar or PhD fellow. Then and you will get good scholarship. I think you will get almost 31,000 per month. That is a good amount. Then there are some project or industry, they can sponsor you for a PhD, okay? Project, by the project means if you want to join some supervisor, then if he is having some research project, from that project, he can actually pay you. So in that way also you can get some fellowship in pursuing PhD, or some industry can also sponsor you. Then this is one of the good fellowship, IIT Bombay Monash Research Academy Fellowship. This is basically a program that is jointly conducted by IIT Bombay and Monash University of Australia. And to get this thing, you don't need to have GATE or NET. Okay, it's not mandatory. You have to write some research proposal, then you have to appear in interview. If you are selected, you will get, and their amount, basically scholarship amount is actually a little bit higher than that usual CSIR NET JRF fellowship. Okay, so you can apply this thing. Also, this is a very good and reputed fellowship in a sense. So these are some of the fellowships that you can take the help of these fellowships to get admission into a PhD and support yourself financially. I personally qualified this one, CSIR UGC NET and DST Inspire also, and also I GATE, but I took admission via the CSIR UGC NET in IIT Bombay, but I somehow regretted because now CSIR UGC are not paying regularly. They are paying, after 3 or 4 months or 6 months kind of stuff. So this is not very regular. But GATE fellowship in institute like IITs and IISs, they are paying regularly. So that is actually better in a sense. But during GATE, you will have a very strong competition to get admission, because GATE is not a fellowship, right? It is just an examination. So if you are having your own fellowship like CSIR UGC or DST Inspire or other fellowship, these fellowships, then it is easier to get admission into the institutions. But anyway, if you do well, you will get admission, no problem. So as I am just telling about PhD, so basically you have to pursue research in chemistry, right? So you have various area, honestly. We have this orthodox area like organic, inorganic, physical. Then nowadays many sub areas are also there: medicinal materials, energy science, environmental chemistry, biochemistry, and this is astrochemistry, newly developed area where you can study the chemistry in outer space. It is a very new and fascinating area. And there's another area in which you can do your research work is chemical education. But this sector is not very much focused in India, or most of the time it is ignored by chemists. This is, but I must tell you that societies like American Chemical Society or Royal Society of Chemistry are giving very much importance to this chemical education sector. And India, we are having one institution to pursue this research in this sector. I will tell you later. So in any science, okay, or in especially in chemistry, basically research is carried out in these three main, based on this pillar actually, okay, theory, then experiment, and computation. And you can see computation is nowadays being very important, and Dr. Parthasarathy has also told about AI-based research, right? So, and I personally also works in this area, right? In between theory and computation. I work in quantum chemistry. So that's why I'm personally, that's why I'm biased towards this quantum computational chemistry section. And I'm telling you that in computational chemistry, you need to have that quantum mechanics or classical mechanics, or nowadays artificial intelligence based approach. And basically you can see, right, these quantum mechanics and classical mechanics, these are basically physics. Okay, and by these mechanics we can explain any of these areas, right? Organic, inorganic, physical, medicinal materials, whatever you want to study, you can study computationally or by experiment, and or by spectroscopy is also there. So you can see, right, these are basically physics things, and they, based on these stuffs we are basically studying or these chemistry subsections. So that is why there is a hierarchy in science. That is that physics is the more fundamental. On the basis of physics, knowledge from physics, we actually understand chemistry or develop chemistry. Then the biology comes. That was actually a very traditional hierarchy system, but nowadays that hierarchy has been broken down, because now the distinction or the you can say boundary between the subjects are not that very rigid. It's very flexible and very unclear. So that's why now that hierarchy is almost gone. So most probably one of our participants asked that question: what is more fundamental? That if you go by that old hierarchy system, actually physics is more fundamental, but nowadays it is almost somehow compromised that stuff. Okay, so let's go to the institutions that I was talking about chemical education. This is called Homi Bhabha Center for Science Education. It is a center, one of the center for TIFR. So it basically works in science and mathematics education, starting from your primary school to undergraduate college level. That is from primary school to BSc level. So how chemistry or other science subject is taught in our system, that is basically the main area of research. Okay, so they provide you PhD, and there is a provision to pursue PhD in science education in this institute. And here your GATE and NET is not mandatory. You have to appear in a written test and an interview. If you are qualified, then you will get equal amount of money that you was getting as anybody get in your CSIR fellowship or something. So this is, I think, very important. And in the country like India, where scientific temperament and understanding of science is very poor, our foundation is very poor, we actually need to work in this section. But however, we are very much actually biased towards some unnecessary glamour. So we want to be a chemist, we want to work in some advanced field, but we don't want to work in the basic foundation. That is the problem of our people. So I basically request you, all of you, at least some of you who can have the interest in science education, to go for this institute and apply this PhD for in science education. And in this institute, you will have a very good program called National Initiative on Undergraduate Science, NIOS, in different areas of science, chemistry, physics, biology, and also in most probably astronomy. It is basically for BSc students. As Dr. Parthasarathy just told about some summer internship or project, as he was getting Indian Academy of Science Fellowship. So it is also that kind of fellowship, and I was getting when I was in BSc. So I went to these institutions and I attended a science motivating camp, and there are a lot of BB scientists came to that camp. They actually talk about the future of science or research or any other scope of chemistry. Then they actually provide you some project work to carry on their institutions, and they will give you some money for that also. And that is, I think, one of the reputed program in the country. So you can, at least the BSc students in their first year can or should apply for this kind of fellowship or in this kind of project program. So this is basically the link. You can go to this link and get the information. Then let's go to the next one, is called CSR, National Institute of Science Communication and Information Resources. So science and technology communication is very important, and to actually promote this kind of education, it was actually established. It's called CSR NISCARE. They also publish a lot of journals, science magazines, to popularize science or to connect people with science. So they provide the PhD and MSc in science and technology communication. You can apply this in this program. Okay, to go by clicking in this link. Most probably you have to give some interview. If you get into admission, then you will get fellowship. So this is one of the other, I think, unconventional area where a chemist after BSc or after MSc can go. Then let's go to the next slide. It is basically, as I have already told about the PhD stuff. So for PhD to pursue your research in very, very reputed institutions like Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, then Indian Institute of Science, right? Then you have IACS, IITs and ICES, NIJAS. This is called S.N. Bose National Center for Basic Science. Here also, if you don't have any GATE or NET, you can directly apply there and you can appear in interview, then also you can get selected. And TIFR also, they are having their own examination or own interview process. So you can directly get admission there if you qualify their criteria. Then this is JNCSR, Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research. Then you have Bose Institute in Kolkata. You have Saha Institute of Nuclear Physics in Kolkata. Then you have Bhabha Atomic Research Center in Mumbai. You have CSR NCL, National Chemical Laboratory in Pune. You have this is IICT Hyderabad. Then you have the CDRI, Central Drug Research Institute in Lucknow. Then you have Institute of Chemical Technology in Mumbai. Then IISST, you know, most probably it is there in Boragaon in Guwahati, right? Or you can have a lot of other options like University of Hyderabad, Pune, Delhi, or Tezpur University, or many more other reputed universities are there in India. So you can go for PhD in those institutes if you want to continue your PhD study in India. Then if you don't want to go there in that academic line, you can go to chemical industry. As I already told you that we have a lot of industries that is based on, right, basic inorganic and organic chemicals, sometimes petrochemicals and plastics, and pesticides, fertilizers, agrochemicals, dyes, pigments and pigments, soaps, perfumes. Then you have pharmaceuticals. Then you have other food processing stuff. So you can go to those chemical industry also if you don't want to pursue your career in academics. Okay. These are top pharmaceutical companies in India: Sun Pharma, Dr. Reddy's Lab, Cipla, GSK, Cadila, Biocon. These are the list. There are many other pharmaceutical companies. So you can work in those companies in the R&D sector if you are having a PhD or you are having experience in research, or you can also go work in some production sector, or you can also work in, I think, health and safety department. So based on your qualifications, you can look for different position or careers in these pharmaceutical companies and many other chemical companies. And you also are familiar with this Patanjali, Ramdev's Patanjali. That is now a very, very famous company in India now. They recently done a drama by developing this Coronil. As you, Dr. Pathajoti Das told about this clinical testing, right? Without doing a scientific clinical testing, they claim that they are developing medicines for corona. This is very, very dangerous, and this is a very serious crime. But I don't know, in India, even committing this serious crime, nothing has happened to nothing has happened to Ramdev or this company. So if you, I don't know, that's why I'm actually giving this company's name, because initially I thought that they also recruit chemists, But after seeing this drama that they have done with Cornell, I'm now very much skeptical whether they really recruit some scientists or recruit some babas. I don't know. So anyway, so let's go to the difference, that the next slide, which I am telling about at least some of important careers or jobs in government sector of India. So you can go geoscientist, that is conducted by UPSC. Okay, so you have to sit on examinations or some written tests. Then you can, if you qualify that, you can get a geochemist job. And as I already initially told you, that forensic is one of the very good area where you can get job. So Directorate of Forensic Science Services, New Delhi, and Directorate of Forensic Science, Assam, at least in our state. So under these two institutes, there are a lot of vacancies always advertised. You can follow this advertisement and you should apply for that. I think then you can get good jobs. Then you have civil services like UPSC and say Assam Public Civil Service Commission. There are a lot of jobs are advertised. You can go for that. And there are scientific assistant or scientific officer jobs in various government labs or institutes. Even if you are not, say, PhD or you are not postdoc, you have done MSc or BSc, then also you can get good jobs in various universities, various research labs, or various institutes like IITs and IJRs. Okay, but their position, that the post of their position basically will be different. You will not going to be a faculty or researcher. You will be helping in scientific activities or in lab activities. So there are a lot of jobs like that. Also, you should follow their sites. I mean, the institute sites when they advertise for these kind of jobs. Then, of course, you know, right, you can go to scientist faculty as a faculty in government labs and institutes. And there are institutes like BARC, DRDO, and other PSU where you can be recruited. They actually, time to time, they publish their vacancy and advertisement in the various sites or in newspapers or in their own websites. You can apply for that and get good jobs. In BRC, I think after MSc, you can get very good jobs in BRC, also in DRDO, in PSU. But most of times, actually, you need a very good gauge score, or you need a very good academic career. Anyway, so you can apply for all these kind of jobs, and I'm sure you will definitely get it if you work hard, if you understand chemistry. And there are another career which is not definitely necessarily government sector. In government sector, they are like science journalism, science or environmental activism, and these are very important career nowadays. You can, there are a lot of NGOs and their media houses. Okay, so you can join them also as a science journalist or a science or environmental activist, and this is very much important because as a chemist or as a industry, we produce a lot of stuff, and that actually pollutes our environment, and this is very much dangerous to the humanity or our nature or our environment. So at the same time, when chemists are producing some chemicals and polluting the environment, at the same time we have to stop them. So we need to choose some careers which also works on that area. So like, that's why science activism or climate change activism or environmental activism is very much important, and I think it's a very good career. And science journalism is important because most probably you have heard about the Nala gas technology that was uttered by our beloved and honorable Prime Minister. And you know, there is nothing, no scientific evidence or base like Nala gas technology. But he said it. And to counter those kind of stuff, which is not scientific, we have to be a science journal. Because see, we want to pursue our career in science. First of all, we have to save science, okay, from the pseudoscience or non-science stuff. So that's why science communication is very important. Science communication or science journalism is very important. So we have to counter this kind of stuff. And most of you are basically from Assam. You are more aware of this EIA 2020, which is very, very, very dangerous for the environment and basically for Assam, right? So we have to oppose this kind of stuff. And to do that, we need a career, right? If we at least have to be professionally involved in some of this activism stuff. So these are some careers in chemistry. So most probably I have touched at least a little bit, and Dr. Parthasarathy Das covered most of the stuff. So I am here coming to the last slide where now I am working at Marburg, Germany. It's Philipps University, Marburg. It's very old university. As you can see, it was established in 1527. It is the world's oldest Protestant university still exists. Basically, it was a religious university initially, but after a lot of centuries, it was converted to universities that provide all the subjects, for your study. And this is basically your old building. This is your old university building. And you can see that church also, because it was a religious institution, as I already told you. So it is first building of a university. And that Philips, he was kind of king who used to live in this castle. Okay, so this is a very beautiful city. Marburg is a very small university town. It has here in this site is a very small river called Lan, like our Bhorolu in Guwahati. But unlike Bhorolu, it is very clean. Okay, Bhorolu is very much dirty. What level of pollution we are creating. And let me tell you that although this is most probably might offend some of people, but I should tell that people in India, in Assam especially, chemists, they have done a lot of research in Bhorolu. And if you do the fishery kind of stuff with net, you will get a lot of PhD thesis there, but you will not get fish or some other living organisms in Bhorolu. It is so polluted. Okay, so that's why I'm telling you that and to save the environment, we need to choose some career which can actually work in that field also, to save the environment, to save us basically. It's basically not saving the environment, it is basically saving us, because environment will, whatever it is environment, it will go on. Only we will have the problem. Only human race or humankind will have the problem to adjust with that environment. Okay, so this is that old building, and this is a new building, the chemistry building, where here I sit. And as already Dr. Priyanka Bura told that I work on relativistic quantum chemistry. Here also I'm working there. I will not talk actually very much about my research, because it is kind of complicated thing. But in a simple line, I can tell you that I am basically trying to, I'm actually involved in some work which are trying to find whether electron has a permanent electric dipole moment or not. We know electron has a magnetic moment. Basically, it has a spin. But if electron has a permanent electric dipole moment, so that is a question, and we are basically working in that field. So with this, I think I will conclude my talk, thanking all of you, once again, the organizers, and also special thanks to Dr. Kamal Krishna Rajbangshi. Actually, I used to learn some of my organic chemistry, organic synthesis research thing from Dr. Rajbangshi, because he was doing PhD then in Guwahati University, and I was an MSc student. So he was my co-guide in that time. So thank you, Dr. Rajbangshi, and then Dr. Parthasji Das, who has given a very brilliant and excellent talks. And we have discussed a lot of stuff to actually develop my talk in front of you. So thank you so much. I think I can now most probably wait for any comments or question if you have any. Thank you.
So thank you.